right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's try again. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. That was better. I'd like to welcome everyone to our session today. And to introduce myself, my name is Danka Dubak. I'm with AVW Equipment Company. We are a global car wash equipment manufacturer based out of Chicago, Illinois. And we are proud to be a family business and celebrating 51 years of business this year. We have partnered with Hoffman Innovate It today to bring to you some education. And from AVW, we will have Marty Martin, our regional sales director, speaking. But to kick things off, I'm going to introduce Tom Hoffman Jr. from Innovate It. We are two family businesses whose values truly align, so we are really happy to share this moment together. Tom? Oh.
Here, actually hand it to me. Remember you said you had to point it really high toward the table. Maybe you need to advance it. There we go. And this actually was Danka's slide describing. Yep. And so that was about AVW. And let's see if I can do that. And your monitor down here is not mirroring, guys, just by the way. There we go. So we're also a family business. We've been operating in the Albany, New York area. My mom and dad started the company in 1965 after the bowling alley got hit by lightning, which is always a fun story to talk about. My dad was a professional bowler, and fortunately that happened. And he lacquered the lanes that night, and I don't think he did that on purpose, but I heard a big storm was coming. So he just loved bowling so much. But anyway, so we have 31 locations right now, 27 tunnels, and even a few full-serve locations. We have self-serve, MA automatics, really pretty much every flavor of car washing that is available in the industry right now. And you know, as our volume increased, you know, we knew we needed more durable equipment. You know, consistent quality of the equipment, and you know, our unlimited programs as they grew were really just wearing out our stuff. And I've always been, you know, building equipment over the years, and in 2018 we started Innovate It Car Wash Equipment Company. Let's get that going. Yeah, we need the guys to click for us, I think. There we go. So as you all know, there are about 17,500 car washes in the United States right now. You know, and under construction, about $3.1 million in square feet being constructed. So, oops. Wow. There we go. You know, the other guy had the same problem with this. And part of our company's kind of, you know, theme is we want to differentiate ourselves from the competition. And, you know, and how do we do that? You know, our people are our most important asset in our company. We, you know, spend a lot of money on training, on wellness, you know, growth and development. You know, we have an HR department, obviously. Customer service, wash quality, speed and convenience, you know, and we're also interested in unlimited membership now. You know, member retention is important, so that's why we have to, you know, provide a quality product at our car washes. Our properties, you know, we're really known for our landscaping, so the curb appeal, building beautiful locations, cleanliness, signage and branding. You know, there's hundreds of little things that we have to concentrate on to, you know, to have a, you know, a great company. So one of the business cases that's really been something that we've done over the years is reinvesting in our properties. This was a location that was built in 1980. And we recently, and it had been upgraded over the years, re-equipped it, but we finally decided to reskin it recently. And we renovated it just 4 years ago. We replaced the equipment. We moved to a prepless model, so in upstate New York, we get a lot of sand, snow, ice. We do pull a prep gun out, and we do prep on really, really dirty cars, muddy cars, and icy cars. But essentially, we replaced the prepping experience with a bunch of high-pressure equipment, and it helped us improve production and basically create a more consistent experience for our customer and improve quality, especially the consistency of the experience for the customer. We added free vacuums to this location. We did adjust the site. We were able to buy a piece of property next door and put in some free vacuums. And the big change too was refacing the building with a completely brand new look. So here's a movie showing the site. So it's a 4-bay self-serve and about a 120-foot tunnel. And we actually happen to have a Jiffy Lube on site also. We used to be a Jiffy Lube franchisee. We ended up selling those a few years ago. I'll just let this slide cycle through. We did do a small addition on the front end. That's at the entrance, you can see. This site was too small to have automated tellers. It's one of only 3 of our 27 tunnel locations that does not have cashiers, actually, automated tellers. So after a total investment of $1.8 million, we saw our membership increase 216%. Cars went up 58%, sales went up 76%, and profit went up 52%. This isn't the only location we've done this to either. We've seen similar results every time we remodel, and we always talk about the importance of reinvesting in your facilities, constantly reinvesting. It's some of the best money you can spend, to help keep competition out, to be a good member of the community, and it also shows your people that that you're a growing company, and it's really important. It's one of the best things we've ever done. It's one of the best investments you could really ever make. The other thing was, I can remember the moment when Governor Cuomo was talking back in, I think it was probably around 2016 or 17. He said minimum wage was going to go straight to $15 from, I think it was maybe $8 at the time. So that was kind of like our corporate epiphany, like we've got to get moving with automating our process to produce, a cleaner, drier car, and especially to improve productivity, and especially to help reduce labor. And actually, he was kind of bluffing. He wasn't. It didn't actually happen. It didn't go right to $15 an hour, but eventually it did. Every year in January, they raised the minimum wage, and actually now it goes to the Commissioner of Labor based on inflation. So now we all know how low inflation is. So I'm sure it'll just stay at 15 now, but it's just going to keep going up and up. Especially in New York City, which we don't operate down there, but. And anyway, this is another illustration. We went through a time right after COVID, we all did, where labor was really hard to find, and we were having trouble finding labor. And when our turnover in the car wash industry, or in all retail actually, is about 75%. So automating your wash process is a way of really protecting yourself against a high turnover problem. So how do we reduce labor and maintain quality? Come on, clicker, there we go. So like I said, we reduced our prepping of most cars, and a longer repetitive task leads to reduced performance. Before we were brushing the backs of cars and prepping, and when I was coming on site to get a test wash, I was always seeing that all our guys were prepping a little differently. You know the challenges of trying to train people to do the same thing, and how long can somebody brush the back of the vehicle? It just doesn't last. So eliminate the variability with automation. So now the customers see the same experience every time. and invest in smarter, more durable equipment. So our new process is, at this location is we're prepping less. We also have a reclaim system. So, another challenge we all face is, the availability of fresh water. Every planning board meeting, they're asking us how much water we're using. So employing a recycling system for our high pressure pumps. And because we're using high pressure and small nozzles, we were clogging nozzles pretty frequently until, our reclaim system has absolute filtration. So it removes all the items that a cyclone really can't remove. Stuff that's lighter than water will float and get through and clog your nozzles. So the reclaim system, it's important to produce high quality water. And then drying obviously is important. At that location we added heated dryers. We have it at really all of our locations. And improving the drying quality by adding more drying blowers really helps with quality and having your customers really happy with it. So investing in smarter equipment reduces labor, maintenance and downtime and cost. So again, we build really heavy duty equipment designed for the unlimited washing world. And it's going to increase your quality and consistent. It's going to increase your memberships. And it's proven to us at least that our revenue is going up, and it's helping us be more profitable. Now I'm going to turn it over to Shane about selecting your equipment.
Good morning. Thank you for coming. So there's a few things that we like to consider when selecting equipment. The first one's the durability. Years ago when I got into this industry, you'd go 10, maybe 15 or 20 years before you'd replace a conveyor. But we weren't washing the cars that we do nowadays, so conveyors aren't lasting as long. So you got to really think and choose that conveyor properly for how many cars you're going to wash. So companies like ourselves and AVW, we take that into consideration in our engineering designs, the materials we choose to fabricate these conveyors, because you can't afford to shut down every 3 years or 4 years for a couple days to rip out and retool. And of course, also when selecting those materials, many of you know, both our businesses, we rely heavily on stainless steel. The environment that we're washing cars in is not the best. I mean, we're in there day in, day out with high pressure water, alkalins, acids, you name it, and the stainless steel is resistant to that, and that is a real factor into the durability of the products. The next really big item that at least we saw at Tom's locations was just your day in, day out maintenance. Again, 32 years ago when I started in the business, summer was kind of like the boring time. You just washed 400 cars every day, and then wintertime would come, you get salt, and you went to 14, 15, 1,600 cars. Now with memberships, the 1,000 car day is the boring day, and it's summertime. So that's 2.5 times the amount of cars, which, if you're looking at things on a scale, that means it's 2.5 times the maintenance, whether it's the greasing or the replacement of bearings and bushings and cloth, chain, rollers. So as you're selecting your equipment and the providers you're going to work with, you really, really want to pay attention to these. How easy is it to service? Do you have to take something apart just to grease it? Do you have to take something apart just to get a visual inspection? How sustainable is that for your team that is operating the car washes? How sustainable is it for your maintenance team? Does it mean they can do it the hour before they open, or does it mean you have to employ overnight maintenance shift to do these items? So these are really things that we found with operating car washes that were really important in our selections for the equipment for our car washes. The other thing really, as Tom started to speak to you about, was the automation process. When you look at other industries, whether it be Henry Ford or computer chip factories. When I was 18, that's where I got my start. Was I ran a machine putting chips on computer boards to make the computers in the cowl boxes, if any of you remember those. So, like Tom said, when you want to increase production, you want to increase the consistent quality of a product. All these other industries have learned to automate that process. For many years, many of us have resisted that in our industry for many reasons. It won't work for us. It costs too much. My employee can prep better. But it's the consistency, you know. Many of you might have been in my thing yesterday, and I talked about Billy prepping cars. So Billy comes in the morning, he's ready to go, and he starts prepping cars. You know, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. By 10 a.m., his shoulder's burning, his hand's tired of squeezing the gun. Next thing you know, that prepping goes downhill. So by automating that process, putting that equipment online, that equipment doesn't care if it's hour 1 or hour 12 of the day. It's just going to keep chugging along doing that same thing that you've employed it to do. With that consistent quality, then your customers will notice that. They want to come in on Monday when it's slow and get a good quality wash. Well, when they come in on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, which generally are the busiest days, they want that same quality. They don't care if there's a line. All they know is they pay $25. They want the same product. The equipment, again, does not care if it's bumper-to-bumper cars or gaps in cars. The equipment generally, if you choose it properly, does not care how fast that conveyor is running. At Tom's locations, we run a little bit quick. We're sometimes just north of 200 cars an hour, and we have to provide that same service to the customer at that speed that we would on a Wednesday that might be running 160, 170. The other thing that we've really noticed is the efficiency. When I started working for Tom as an employee 10 years ago, roughly, winter days, we were running the conveyor. Some of the managers were a little aggressive, and we'd see 220, 225. And we have an efficiency percentage that our managers are held accountable for. Over the years, as we've automated, we've been able to back that conveyor speed down, maintain the same efficiency rate of cars per hour washed, and provide a better customer experience, better quality, a drier car. So having that assembly line mentality and keeping everything rocking and rolling really has grown and put the proof in the pudding of those statistics that Tom shared with you earlier, with the rise in the memberships, the profitability. So just to recap, you know, when do businesses really want to automate? You know, they want to automate when they want to streamline to increase their volume, increase the consistency. Maybe it's that repetitive task of squeezing that gun, doing the bumpers, doing the rocker panels, and they want overall higher throughput. You know, I'm a car nut, so I use the analogies of cars all the time. Drive some of my guys crazy, I think. But Henry Ford, you know, he had that little Tin Lizzie. He needed to produce more, so he needed to automate the assembly line. We're in the same thing. We're producing a product, and that product is a clean, shiny, dry car. There we go. A couple other things that we really want to think about, you know, and I call them customer experience things. So, you know, when you're simplifying that loading process, you'll see this video here, you know, of one gentleman loading cars. When the customer pulls in, he focuses on one person. That one person's going to give him direction of what to do with his vehicle, where to steer, when to pull forward, when to stop. You pull up to a car wash 10 years ago when we were washing 1,600 cars. We'd have 4 or 5 guys with prep guns, 2 guys with back brushes, and the customers are pulling up, and the guy steps in front to prep, and the customer instantly hits the brakes, thinks they're going to hit him. No, he'll get out of the way in time. But also, there was all those pauses in your assembly line process because they're looking at this guy, but it was the guy up there that was waving them forward, but they weren't focused on him. So by automating the process, moving employees to other stations to help your customers, now the customer can focus on the task at hand. That's pulling in nice and smooth, nice and easy, keeping the line flowing consistently. The other thing that it's really done for us is it's simplified troubleshooting. You know, we remember the old days, you know, as soon as the conveyor is stopped, everybody scatters, everybody's running around. Why did it stop? Why did it stop? And a lot of times your customers, they're sitting there saying, where'd everybody go? Do I back up? Do I pull forward? You know, what's going on? By having fewer employees, there you can see our loading podium, all the information our attendants need to operate our car wash are in that one location. If it stops, the message pops up on the screen right there. You know, somebody pushed a stop button down the tunnel or whatever. This is a real comfort for your employees who are operating your car wash, but more importantly, it's a real comfort for the customers and the customer experience that when something does happen, that gentleman right there, he's staying with that customer that's loading, giving them direction, giving them comfort, and that overall customer experience is great. And lastly, the thing it's really going to do is improve the safety. If all the employees scatter and that customer decides to back up, doesn't realize there's cars behind them, you could have collisions, or even at the, you know, sometimes they're loaded and, you know, the old days, somebody would take off and run and they're like, well, I guess I'm going to drive out of here. And, you know, they start drop it and drive and we all watch YouTube, man. There's some scary moments there. So, you know, when you're making these equipment decisions and how you're going to run and operate your car wash in today's environment, please consider these. And when you're evaluating how much these cost and what effect they'll have on your car wash, maybe refer back to Tom's statistics and you can see where it truly does bring the money back into your operations, allows you to expand your operations, allows you to pay your employees better, and it builds your core base of your members. I'm going to turn it over to Marty Martin from AVW Equipment.
Thanks, Shane. Good morning, everybody. So I'm Marty Martin. I'm the Western Region Sales Director for AVW. At AVW, we're passionate about car washing, and a lot of people say things like that, but what it means to us is that we spend a lot of our time meeting with customers, doing hundreds of site visits, going out and learning where they are, what challenges they have, and helping them kind of get to the next level. We introduce them to other customers, we introduce them to people who have solved the same problems, and we like to be a small part in their success and sharing that. So I want to share a couple stories about some of those tours and some of the methodology we use. So was walking a site, and we see a little of everything on these, right? So some of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Walking a site and with my boss, Scott, and walked in and said, hey, what do you think, Scott? And he said, well, an old car wash saying, you guys may have heard this, but lots of people doing the wrong things slowly, right? And, you know, we come in from out of town and nobody wants to hear, you know, kind of you point out their flaws or anything like that. So, and in leadership, we want to be positive, and we want to create a roadmap, right, to success. So we flip that and we take it to few people doing the right things quickly. So wanted to talk a little bit more about production, and we'll get into the state of the market. But if you want to talk politely on one of these tours, you don't want to talk religion, politics, or about people's prepping, right? So it's definitely something that isn't popular, but we often walk into these sites, and the one I'm talking about here, what they were doing, they had two prep guns, three people, a lot of people, and they were washing a car prior to it going into a car wash, right? So I'd say that's the wrong thing to be doing. And then because it took so long, they're slowing their entire process down, and they were actually, you know, hurting their business. People are getting frustrated. So what we'd like to see them do is get that, like we talked about, automation. We want to see quality built into the process. And a big mistake that operators make in lots of businesses is they try to manage their people up to a quality level that doesn't exist in their process. And it's very frustrating for everyone involved. It's exhausting for the team trying to get there. It's exhausting for customers because it's an inconsistent quality. So, and if you have to prep, you have to prep. You have to prep. You know that the quality that your tunnel is delivering isn't acceptable to your customers and isn't acceptable to you, right? So, but I challenge you, if you are still prepping or thinking about that, to look at it as a failure in your process and attack the process with automation rather than try and up-manage people and take that quality from the people you're dealing with. So, because it is very hard on everybody. So, so as part of this conversation, we're going to talk about detail belts, and had a conversation with Guy Pelosi at Flagship, and this was something he just came right out off the cuff with, and I really thought it was a simple and succinct way to talk about this. It's humans have to clean what equipment doesn't. So we're going to talk about detail belts here, and one of the most important things he said was the tunnel's got to put out a good quality car before it gets to the detail belt, or your people are doing the wrong things on the belt. So state of the market. Our favorite thing to do with customers is buy car washes at a grand opening, right? So we were going to another one of these site tours, driving through a beautiful site, just opened. We've got 3 pay lanes, 130-foot dual belt, 3 sets of wraps, contours, really a nice job, high pressure, A+ execution. They're opening up with almost 1,000 members in the first week. And coming out of the end of the tunnel, where our customer points to across the street. And so one of our owners, Willie, was driving the Suburban like usual. And they said, you see what's going on over there? They're building an in-bay automatic right across the street. And isn't that like, bringing a knife to a gunfight? And without skipping a beat, Willie said, it's like bringing a knife to a nuclear bomb fight. And that hit me because I've worked with in-bay automatic customers, and I've felt the pain of that, an express coming nearby, and you go from a successful site to, that's doing 75, 100 cars to 9, 13, right? And the effective range of that site goes from, 3 miles to essentially the gas pumps it's connected to. And I'd say that's a lot of what's going on right now in the market, right? So, and strong operators know, and it's an old competitive quote that I love, local business in a tough market is like being chased by a bear. You don't have to outrun the bear, but you have to outrun the guys you're hiking with. And I always really like that, So like here, you've got an in-bay automatic, and then sliding through the next level, a mini tunnel can be very successful. You've got markets that are hard to build a 140-foot tunnel. If it's going to be the best in class, it can do very well, right? Next step up. Conveyorized tunnel with monthly memberships. I'm going to call this a chain conveyor. I'm going to call it a market that, or an operation where you have 15 vacs, conveyorized tunnel, monthly memberships. I think a dual belt express exterior is going to be a better customer experience. I think this is kind of the next level up. So, but what we're mainly going to talk about here today is a detail belt and why this is a thing, the detail belt super sites. So. When we moved to the express model now, what's greater than 15 years ago, we kind of made a grand bargain with customers. So we said to them, we're going to make it a little more fun. We're going to make it a lot faster. We're going to give you some lights, some smells, and all we need from you is to basically do a little of the work yourself and clean the interior, right? So, and customers jumped aboard. I think everyone here would agree that it's been incredibly successful. So, but what we didn't ever take away was the value of an interior cleaning. So, but you have to deliver it without taking their time back away. So that's critically important. And a lot of wallet shares still available there for that. So your membership customers are going to a full serve every once in a while, even if they have members or if they have memberships with you, because they have the luxury of time. Maybe they're picking up their boss from the airport or whatever. They want to make sure that interior looks great, So what we can do, and let's see here. So we're going to talk about kind of an example of a super site. This is a flagship site here. And what it has in it, indoor vacs, two large tunnels, and then 3 detail belts. And so at the Southwest show, Stu Crum just recently announced his retirement, but he brought a pretty cool fact that most car washes, or most car wash customers are washing within 3 miles of their home. So I think a site like this gets somebody to drive 4 miles. It's a destination site. You know, it's something that's so best in class that it really is kind of immune to the competition if you build around them. So this is I love this detail here. So a detail belt is essentially a progress bar for your customers. So setting customer expectations is critical in any business, but in a car wash, it's especially important when time is the biggest factor. And what we're doing with the detail belt is we're setting that expectation and showing customers exactly how long their car is going to take, and they can see it. So if you've ever been to a full-serve car wash and had your car skipped, you lose your mind, right? So hey, why are they moving to the car behind me? You know, I was here first, right? It's a really important thing, but there's layers to this. Customer expectations is probably number one, but your management team can see everything that's going on from where you are in the facility. They can see if it's full, they can see what your production looks like, they can manage the process, and they can, because you've taken the time factor out, they can actually simplify training and simplify positions on that team and improve the process. So, but I'd say another incredibly important part of this is team expectations. So if you go to any factory making widgets, they're going to have a green, yellow, red light that shows people where they are all day long. So it's challenging when you're doing the same thing over and over again to know, like, hey, how am I doing? Sometimes it feels great and you're not meeting production. Sometimes you're working your butt off and you are. It just really depends. So real-time feedback and urgency with your team is very important. It's something that the belt delivers. So this is an overhead plan view of this site. So 2 tunnels here that can do about 250 cars per hour each. We've got the indoor vacs in the center, and then 3 detail belts that run 30 cars per hour each. So it's important to get the mix right. So you can't just build this anywhere. This is in a very strong market, and it's a high performing site. So you still have to have the volume and the work mix to do this, but that's this one here. So a quick picture of it, and then we're going to show a video that actually flies through the area so you can get an idea of what this looks like. But it's based on setting it up like a production, like a factory, so you can push cars through quickly and with a repeatable process. It's about a 1-minute video here. And it's sped up, but I do have one after too to show exactly how fast we run it here at this site. And the idea here is you have a loading belt, so in a customer's mind, their time is not starting until they actually exit their vehicle. And this is set up on a 4-minute cycle, so they're doing a full interior in a 4-minute cycle. And it breaks down with, and this is just how, there's lots of right ways to do this, and I think if you get car wash people in a room, 6 of them that have been very successful their entire careers, they'll tell you 6 different exact right ways to do things. So, but this is set up with 2 teams of 4 and a loader, and that comes down to, let's see here. Oop. This is our real time. So this is what a 4-minute cycle looks like. You can get kind of an idea of how fast that's running, and that customer experience again. So they're seeing what start to finish this is going to look like for them and exactly where they stand. So breaking that down again, we got 2 teams of 4 on the belt, and again, talking about training, you can simplify everything and pull people in more quickly. We talked about how difficult and challenging it is to find people that want to. You don't have to create superheroes like a California Detail where they're gathering all their tools, they're gathering all their supplies, they're moving cars, and then they're creating a process each time they clean a car. You can simplify it and make it repeatable and have everything right in front of you here. But all this is great. Best in class. Here we go. Best in class gets people to the front door. It helps with your top line, but you have to have performance, right? These are expensive systems. So this And these are flagship numbers here. It delivers about a 30% savings, and that's coming from not driving and staging cars, setting up repeatable processes, and not gathering tools and supplies. So significant labor savings on top of being that best-in-class operation are why people are doing this. So now this is another tool we've just recently released, and it's something that's going hand in hand with our detail belts. So we've got the mat blaster that can do the WeatherTech mats in just a few seconds, and it's been pretty well adopted by our customers. So I just wanted to share that with everybody, and a pretty neat thing. So I'm running out of time here. But the last thing I wanted to share with everybody. So we are at a crossroads in our market. So it costs more to do everything now. It's harder to find places in here, and we're seeing more and more companies are coming in and they're looking at the map and they're looking at markets that people are already in. And the only benefit you have coming late into a market is you can see where everybody is, you can see what they've done, and you can outbrand them, outposition them, and also come in with a better mousetrap. So unfortunately, the path of least resistance right now on growth is finding weakness in other operators. So we're seeing a lot of that. So take a look at kind of your own organizations, and I just like this philosophy. So you can apply this to almost anything. I hope you guys enjoy it. But the companies that are out there and they're on the left side of this are going to be targets. So, and at AVW, we're a 51-year-old company. So we spend a lot of time, like I said, with our customers, and I feel like everything kind of peaked, right? We really had a tremendous amount of growth and a lot of new excitement in the industry, and now some of that is settling down a little bit, and it's coming back to the basics and the fundamentals and the relationships, and that's really the kind of company we are. So we've been here for 51 years, and we're going to continue to do the same thing and continue to grow with our customers. So thanks a lot, everybody. So come see us in the booth. We'd love to meet you. If we're not working with you, we'd love to hear your story and see what we can do to be a small part of your success. So thanks a lot.